Welcome to our school, Mr. Reza. Thank you for taking your time with us. It's a very great experience to meet you face to face here. Hopefully this interview is gonna last very good. So my first question is about your childhood. What was your dream profession back in your childhood?
How? In what age?
Yes.
In which age?
Maybe teenager, like 12.
Oh, because when I was 6, 7 years old, my dream was to become a black jazz American singer. so, so that's why I said which age. This was a, but then later, it was always looking for a profession or works that I could express myself. Yes, I wasn't interested in anything else than just expressing my ideas, what I like, what I see, what is give me emotion. This was the reason actually I started learning photography in the age of the 13 years old. And from this age ongoing now.
But did you remember in like what stage did you take the photograph machine?
Yes, of course. Let me explain a little more about it. That when I was sorry, kid, almost from age of the 7, 8 years, 9 years, I have this incredible passion inside me that two things it was giving me emotion. One was the beauty. When I was seeing a fantastic cloud, my heart was become beating very fast. When I see a beautiful flower or person, or even sometimes I remember listening to radio, if there was some voice or thing that someone singing and it was emotional for me. The second thing that was giving me exactly the same emotion was the social injustice. From the childhood, I was always get emotional when I was seeing a beggar, when I was seeing a little boy with no shoes on the streets. You know. So these two things always, from the age of this, as I remember, it was with me. And later when I became like 9, 10 years old, I thought that I'm big enough now, and I was going to call all the people, big ones, the teacher, the director, the parents, the family that I was seeing, and I was showing them, hey, listen, look how beautiful is it? Like showing this thing, Tashakkur. Look how beautiful is it? Or look why this boy doesn't have shoes and I have shoes. And all the bigs looking to me down and saying, well, you will grow up and you will understand why. But it wasn't enough for me.
Is there any childhood memory that you would definitely experience it again? Like experience.
I think that I am still the same child. I haven't changed much.
Maybe you were playing with your friends, like at the parks.
Yes, I know what you mean, but I'm still everything that I'm doing. In my soul, I'm still the same child of the 9, 10 years old for me. You know, what I'm going, where I'm going, and what I'm talking to the people. So that's why this moment was very important for me in those ages, to give the awareness to the people. So when I was talking to the people, they didn't, take care a lot. So I thought maybe I'm not able to express myself. And then that's why I came to my idea. I'm sorry. Could you Okay. Um, so that's the reason I said maybe image will have a better expression, and I could show to everybody, because there was another problem at this age is that at home we were speaking Azerbaijani, but in the school we have to speak Farsi, and even if we didn't speak Farsi, we will be punished. We will be beaten by the teacher that why you speak Azerbaijani, you have to speak Farsi. So that's how it came to my mind that, well, photography has no language. You know, art has no language. I mean, has his own language, different. It's and then later, I mean, this was when I started my first picture in the age of 13 years old. And now I'm 69, so 69 minus 13, 56 years now that I'm photographing. But it wasn't a profession for me. When I started, it was just, as I said, it was my passion, not hobby. Hobby is different than passion. It was
like more deeper.
Yes, it was my passion. And I learned myself. There was no YouTube, you know, tutorial. There was no internet. There was no classroom. There was no teaching photography. At those years in Tabriz, there was only few photography studio that people, they were going and taking the portrait for the documents or family pictures or wedding. This was the only thing which, and I knew that these are not the job which I'm looking for. So I became an architect. I went to the university, Tehran University, Tabriz University. First I studied physics. Then I left physics and I went to Tehran Fine Arts University, study architecture, and I became an architect, but always doing photography. And one day in 1979, I decided totally to quit architecture after 2 years working, and just became photographer. I had no idea if I will find a job or not when I quit architecture.
Follow your passion.
Exactly. And 3 weeks after I quit architecture, I got a job with the Newsweek in Tehran, which was Newsweek was one of the top 3-4 magazine in the world at the time. So I started in a very high-end starting, because everything I have learned from the age 13 years old myself, I didn't know that these are what I'm learning is so valuable. I didn't know what I'm creating is so appreciated in the international level. So when the Newsweek people saw my pictures, and they said, "This is your pictures." I said, "Yeah, of course. You know, I'm taking this. This is like nothing for me." So they became interested, and they said, "Would you like to work for us?" I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, work for us, take pictures." And I said, "Okay, let's go." And that's how I started.
Yes, it's a very interesting journey.
Okay.
So my question is, like, what is the exact difference between an eye of photographer and an eye of normal person?
Well, you understand the answer. What is the difference?
You are searching for beauties.
No, no, no. It's more deeper than this. Anybody can write, no?
Yes.
I mean, anybody that has gone to the school could write very correctly. There are people that writing very good, but only few people can write the poem.
Yes.
What is this?
Yeah.
Huh?
I see the difference, yes.
This is exactly the same. You cannot explain what is the difference between thousands of the people that take pictures and one that is became photographer. You cannot express the same things about the millions of the people that writings and have pen in the hand, and someone that suddenly, even maybe he hasn't been in the school, but became a fantastic poet. Where does it come from?
Yes. Actually, no one can have to look the world from your eyes. from your eyes like to photography, belong to photography, but no one can see the difference between this photography and the normal photos like taking from the pictures from the phones. Yes, I see. Is there anything that in the world you would definitely like to change?
A lot. But
Like something comes to
I think that, well, given what I have seen in the past 40 years, which being in the front line, being in the front line of many of the wars, seeing the conflict, seeing the refugees, seeing how the war affecting humanity. So this is one thing that if I could change is silent all the weapons. This is
you witnessed.
of course, sorry. The only the only acceptable war is what the Azerbaijan did in recently, which is going back, taking back their own rights. This is obviously, of course, acceptable for this. But war for war, what's happening in a lot of countries that
It's not more than
for economy or taking the land of the other people, these are absurd, totally absurd in this 21st century. So this is one thing. If humanity could change this, it means that no war, no weapon. So, because in the world, almost, I don't know, 1/3 of the whole world budget, it goes to the war. Weaponaries. If there is no war, if there is no occupation of your land, and you don't need to get the weapon to how you said, to attack the occupier and get your right back. Imagine all this finance and money if it's put in education and in the health. The world will be paradise.
it's going to be improving so much.
Yeah.
You witnessed in the Karabakh so many deaths, so many escapes of people, so many lives, so many misery there. What did you feel after being back in those lands during the 4 months?
I do remember exactly. I think it was 24 or 25th November last year when I arrived at Agdam. This was in Agdam city, in the back of the big mosque. That's where 28 years ago I have seen all those people from Khojali, especially with this woman, you know, those pictures. That I have taken there. It was an incredible mixture of joy and outrage. Because joy, because, you know, it has been like 28 years that this occupation was really touching my heart. I was really not, I didn't feel good all the times. Even if I was traveling all around the world, doing a lot of things. It was not only because I'm origin from Azerbaijan that it was happening to me. It was because as a world citizen, I was outraged for 28 years that what an injustice happened to Azerbaijani. They lost their lands. There have been more than millions of them being refugees, and the world was silent and didn't want to know. So this sense of the injustice was touching me a lot. So what I could do in these 28 years was spreading the word, doing exhibition, making books, making conferences, talking about Karabakh, which was very difficult, especially in the Europe and US, because you have a very strong Armenian lobby. And the whole world, they were only getting information from Armenian side. And you know, when the pen is in the hand of your enemy, you can't do anything.
I also watched one of your interviews. You said that you went Karabakh, like first for very difficult ways, like you went there, if I'm not mistaken, from medicine cars for helping the Armenians.
Exactly.
Yes. My question is, haven't you ever been scared of going there? Like, there is not like little scary in your heart, maybe.
Scared of what?
Scared of experiencing the like dramatic atmosphere of the war, maybe.
You mean scared of the danger of the war, or?
Yes, danger of the war, of course.
Mm.
Being killed.
No.
You're so brave.
You know, it's. Let me explain this. Have you ever heard someone die twice? No. We all die once. All right?
Yes.
So, if I have to stop doing what I love to do because I'm afraid of dying, it's meaning that, okay, I will push my life longer, maybe, but I will not live the life which I want.
In one of your interviews, you mentioned that during 4 months you have been living together with soldiers there. Which memories do you remember there?
The memory which I remember in Shusha at those days was the bravery, because in 1992 it has almost been 12 years which I was a professional photographer, and a lot of time I have spent in the Middle East, in Beirut, Lebanon war, in Kurdistan war, let's say Iran-Iraq war, and all of them. So, yeah, Afghanistan a lot. I forgot the main one. So, I have an understanding of the weaponaries and the military's movement and all those things. I have, being in all those war field, you became an expert on the war, on the weaponaries, on which tank is shooting how long and where is it. So without even knowing, even if you are a pacifist and you are anti-war, but you became an expert. So 92, I find not military people here in Azerbaijan, all around the Karabakh, and the people that they were fighting, and no proper weaponaries, no proper clothing, no proper groups, no proper commandings, So this was a disaster for me. And sometimes even I see people that they didn't know how to use a gun. They were in the front line. So these were all mixture of this rage, again, outrage, and in the other hand, I see what the Armenian was doing was professional. They knew how to do, and they have a very strong snipers. They're very, very good in the snipers. Actually, they shot 3 times to me, the snipers, Armenian 3 times. I lost one of my hat in Shusha and Jidr by the snipers. So But what I remember was this joy and the bravery of those people, which they knew that they will be killed. I mean, it was obvious that they could not be resist in this big, strong Armenian army. At the time, there was also a big Russian battalion that helping Armenian. And also, I knew that the Iranian regime, the Islamic Republic, they are also helping Armenian. They were helping in different way. That one was giving them all the energy, because they were not Armenian. The only way for them to get the gas and the oil was through Iran, and Iran giving them free, almost for free. They were giving them food and everything they wanted, and they were giving them information about the war, military movement. So at those years, 92, I have this side Azerbaijani non-existing military almost, but very brave volunteer people. In the other side, I have Armenian, was very strong in the military, Russian military, Iranian Islamic Republic, 3 countries, all attacking one small country that they didn't even have proper military or weaponry. So this was but I remember those moments was very difficult actually.
But after 30 years, it was like opposite of that?
Definitely, that's why I said that it's personally, even, again, not even as an Azerbaijani, but as a professional, as a world citizen that have seen this injustice in 1992 and now justice. This is fantastic, because I always thought that whatever happened in the history, justice will find his own way always. It may take times, because even here in Azerbaijan, there was a lot of people that before the Second War started, even months before, they were telling me, Reza Bey, finished, we will never see Karabakh. It's gone. And I was saying, no, I will go to Karabakh.
You have witnessed the important moments of the old history time. For example, Iran Revolution, Iran-Iraq wars, Karabakh First and Second Wars, Afghanistan, and etc. How these wars influenced on your way to look the world?
You mean how impressed me?
Yes.
I'm not impressed by them. No. I always thought that these are the, as I said, there was actually in all of them, I'm a very pacifist guy. I'm against war. The only war that I accept, this one I said that Azerbaijan was doing because they were getting back their lands. This is acceptable, obviously. So all the other wars, most of them, I was disgusted. When I find a reason, when I see why this happening, why millions of people are dying, why millions of people losing their home, became refugees and all those things. Because after 40 years being in all those wars, obviously I got an understanding what is on the table, why this war is happening. And this make you angry on the humans, on the, I mean, not human, on the humanity in the level that the decision is made to continue and to have those wars. And it makes you totally angry and disgusted about those reasons that the war happened. As you said, at the end, what happened, you could be the Bill Gates or Elon Musk or whatever. The day that you die, you only take your body with you, yes. Nothing else. So why start those wars because of getting more land or more economical gain or strategical point or money. Why? So that's why I said, having seen all those wars and consequences, millions of people died. You know how many people I have seen dying in front of my eyes?
Maybe we can switch to overview to photography in the last questions of the interview for not taking your time so much.
Please.
Whom from the sphere of the photography do you admire most?
Whom from the
sphere of photography?
the other photographers? Well, the one which they are doing similar works, obviously, but let me explain a little more about it before saying that whom. The photographer, even if it looks like a new profession, but the mentality, what we do is illustrating, showing by pictures the daily life of the humanity. Am I right? Yes. This is what photographer does. And this is not invented by camera. Showing in image the daily life of the people, of your life. You know where's the first times we have the traces?
No.
In Chauvet caves in South France, 43,000 years ago. What we see on the cave, it's paintings of the hands and some animals.
Also in Gobustan.
Then I'm coming there to Gobustan, and then Egypt, you have all this painting of the pharaohs, and then we have, so from the caves of the Chauvet till now, we always had people that use the tools of, existing tools of their times to show the daily life, what's happening in the life, different way. So I am, if I was 42,000 years ago, I will be painting on the Chauvet caves, you know. If I was 15,000 years ago here, I was in Gobustan making one of those the figures. And if I was living in Egypt 5,000 years ago, probably I was painting the pharaoh's lifestyles on the walls. I mean, then it's come till, you know, then became painters and the illustrator, graphic people, the designers and photography. So it's something that was going on from the time that we almost know the humanity, almost. The illustrating the daily life by image, I mean, using images. Now, when the writing was invented 4,500 years ago, there were very few people that learned how to write. Then hieroglyphs came, and also there was very few people. They were called scribes. It meant writers. Everybody that has a pen, and it was called the writer. It takes a lot of time, finally, to separate, saying that
it's like master of writing and it's writer.
Even more than this, it takes a long time. This is a journalist. This is a writer. This is a poet. You know, this is a teacher. Everybody, he's a mathematician. All of them, they were writers before. Now, everybody that has camera, we call him photographer. But there are millions of years of the difference between photographer, which I'm doing, and wedding photographer. Both of us, we use the same tool. People, they call us, oh, these are two photographers, but, you know, or there are photographers that only take pictures of the chairs and the table to make the catalog.
They don't see the difference easily, that's why.
Exactly. So that's why what I'm doing, it's almost my own way, my personal way, expressing myself using photography. It is not the, let's say, as I mentioned into how I started photography, it was because I wanted to express myself and I wanted to create connection with the people and I wanted to bring the awareness of the people what's happening around us. So there are now photographers that doing this kind of the works. You know, one of them was that I admired a lot was Henri Cartier-Bresson. There's another one called Eugene Smith, then called Salgado. So then there are many more now, but these are the names just come to my mind, and some of them I knew, some of them are friends. So the main fact is how to use image to tell the stories, because let me finishing with this story. 4,500 years ago, again back in Egypt, what was the language? What was the alphabet? Hieroglyph. What were the hieroglyphs?
They were signs of the...
Okay, all right. Then we came A, B, C, D, and Aleph, B, P. We find a few different alphabet, like Chinese, like Georgian, like Armenian, Arabic, Latin, that writings, all right? Divide people. If you don't read Chinese, you may see it, you don't understand what is it. If you don't speak English, you may not be able to read what is going on. So the language and alphabet became a dividing element between humanity. So we needed to come back to find a universal language that everybody understands it, that Chinese and Azerbaijani and the people from Ghana and the France and everybody could see and understand it. So we find it. This is image. We have our hieroglyph now. The emojis are the new language of our society now. Emojis is, after 5,000 years ago, we came up with the finding the same that hieroglyph were, the signs, emojis. So that's why humanity need one language. For a moment, this is image, this is photography, this is the emojis is part of it, images. So this is a beginning of a new era in the life of the humanity. Most of people, they don't understand it, or they don't look in this way, that we are in a revolution of the language. We are getting a language more and more that you can understand it and you can talk to the people. When I made an exhibition in Japan or in China or in Burkina Faso, Mali, Germany, France, here, people, they come and they see they got the same emotion. That's what I learned when I was 13 years old. I knew that I want to talk to everybody. So that's why I got this language.
It's like art doesn't need to language to be understandable. For example, that's why it's the main beauty of the art culture.
Absolutely. Art is, for me, has solution for a lot of social problems. Art. Individually, art therapy is fantastic, but also for collectiveness, art is the solution for many of the problems. But if you put H and E before art, this is the main solution. Which is it? The heart is the main solution. You need to put your heart on finding the solution.
Thank you, Mr. Reza.
Thank you very much.
It was a great experience for me.
Fantastic.
As I said before, I was waiting for this day for a month. Thank you so much.
Very good preparation and very professional. Bravo.
I'm very grateful if you like it.
Very good, thank you. And thank you for baklavas.
You have a
This is my breakfast now. Sağ olasın. Çok sağ ol.